Hey everybody, welcome to the Fractured Focus reaction to Game of Thrones Season 7, Episode number 2. I'm one of your hosts, Ben Gordon, and coming in live from the great state of Nebraska, the original Swino of Omaha himself, Mr. Matt Swinehart. Matt, how you doing?
I am good. 2 days from being 40 years old.
What was it like?
the last 20 or 39 years? I can't remember. To be honest with you. Feels like I was just born. No, I don't know.
I was going to say, do you wake up feeling any different at all?
I haven't yet.
Everybody,
I'll let you know. I'll let you know Thursday morning or Friday.
Everybody said, yeah, it's like when you're 30 and you're 40, you're different. I didn't feel different at all at 30, and I'd be surprised if I do 40, but who knows? I guess we'll cross that bridge when we pass it.
I definitely didn't at 30. I was a little hungover, so I think I overdid it. The birthday that, like, to me was like the landmark was 25. Because that's like when your car insurance and everything as a guy is supposed to like go down. And I remember I saw no difference. And I wanted to call and be like, no, I'm 25 now. I'm supposed to get a cheaper rate, right? But I think it's also because I bought a new car at that point. But
I was going to say, when you walk in there with the 6-pack of beers that you're still drinking from the previous night and you're still hungover, you probably lose credibility.
No, don't worry. I had 3 of these on the way over. But I just kind of wanted to talk to you guys about my car insurance rates because I'm 25 today.
Well, at least you didn't cross the 40 threshold and still being ignorant to Game of Thrones, because now you know what the hype is about and you're into it full blast.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Well, let's dive right into it. Episode
God
number 2.
Forbid.
What'd you think of Sunday night episode?
I liked it. I liked it a lot more than I liked the first episode.
Really? Because we both liked the first one.
Yeah, but as I go back to the first one, it was kind of a letdown in a way.
Really? Why?
I mean, if I was somebody that had watched it every season religiously, and I come into it after waiting a year, after waiting more than a year because the delays in production.
Right.
I apologize. It was kind of a letdown because I look back on it and it's like, it's a good summary of where everybody is. But apart from what Arya does, nothing happens in episode 1.
What, really? I was going to say it was 6 years of buildup with Daenerys, and the fact that they knew that was such a big deal for her to finally hit Westeros, so they actually made it to be like a 10-minute segment with almost no dialogue, where you can really grasp what she's feeling, and I thought that was amplified. I thought that was perfectly done.
You see the size of Dragonstone at that point. You kind of get that presence of what it is, which put it on more of a kind of a grandeur because you never saw that with Stannis. But I mean, really, apart from, honestly, I mean, as far as what I expect from a Thrones episode, apart from Arya being Arya, it was just kind of a, here's where they are right now. It was 60 minutes of, if you want to know where everybody was. It's like,
I gotta say, you're fucking totally crazy wrong, and I totally respect and love you as a friend, but that's just absolutely...
Recently on Game of Thrones, I mean, it was just like you could have summed all that
Getting
up
to watch watching where the Hound has come from, and that was really a bold statement.
The Hound, I'd take it back in regards to the Hound. The Hound was story development.
Yeah.
The rest of the stuff was just, here's where they are. We're setting out, this is where you are on the map.
Some of it was, and I think some of it had to be, but I think the whole thing with Daenerys and how big a deal it was that this is it. After 6 long years where you've wanted this, you finally hit it, and I think that they did that moment just perfect. I mean, the
but
slow
she's on
pacing
Dragonstone.
Huh?
She's just on Dragonstone.
Yeah, but she's in Westeros. She has never been
Westeros.
Here. The last time she was there when she was a baby, that was a really big deal. I just thought that the way that they did it was really respectful, and it was cool. You could see what was going through her head when they go through the castle and she pulls down the tarp of the Baratheon flag, and she sees the throne that's in the room that her family has sat at for 300 years. I thought that was very meaningful, and I thought that was shown by the fact that there was almost no dialogue, that it was delayed out intentionally, and that even when you have Grey Worm about to walk up and follow up to the throne room, even Tyrion, who always talks, was never talking through that on purpose. And what's her translator's name? Missandei. Missandei even stops Grey Worm and pulls him back. This is Dany's moment to really think what this means to be back in this place. And I just thought, so I basically say, I hear you, but you're batshit crazy wrong, man. That's cool.
Well, no, that's fine. No, but I think it's more like coming off of season 6 and going into that.
Well, no
and
shit. If you compare that was such a big epic
exactly,
ending.
Exactly. I know we're a week behind with this, but I'm having a week to kind of think about it.
Right.
I want to address that first because to me that's kind of the elephant in the room for me leading into the episode 2.
Mm-hmm.
Because I didn't know where episode 2 was going to go.
Right.
Right. I'm like, well, we obviously know where everybody's at.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they made that clear. They made it clear that Jon is still king of the North, but Sansa still has to have some kind of voice.
Right.
And
Sam in the Citadel was cool as shit. I thought that wasn't just here's where he is. You actually get to experience what maesters go through.
No, and Sam in the Citadel, apart from him dealing with the shit.
Uh-huh.
Literally. I mean, that's like all it was. I mean, it set the tone like, here's what Sam's dealing with right now. You know, he thought he was going to become a maester and it's going to be some grand thing, and it's just changing shitty bedpans.
Yeah.
But I don't they could have gone other places with it. I feel like they drug their feet a little bit now, having been a week out of it, and maybe they drug their feet because there's only 7 episodes this season.
Mm-hmm.
But on to episode 2.
Yeah.
No, I thought it was great. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's like, what I love when I watch these episodes is I want questions at the end.
Yeah.
I don't want them answered.
Mm-hmm.
I want questions at the end. I want to be like, what's happening here? What's happening there?
Right.
And this episode was great for that. I mean, unfortunately, I watched it last night, so then today I felt an open invitation to look at all these Facebook posts and whatever else about, well, what do you think this meant? What do you think that meant? And so I don't want to say I fell victim to it, but I read them.
I would too. I love getting
things.
these ideas of ways you might not have thought.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. But no, like,
did you watch the after the show stuff with the producers from the show where they kind of talked about
I did not watch the after the show stuff.
Okay.
Because I watched a little bit of it after the first one, and I felt like they started explaining things. And with me, I don't necessarily want an explanation with my reviews. Mm-hmm. I want to know my opinion, and I can watch the after the show stuff.
You can still have your opinion just because you found out more what maybe they intended or what they were thinking when they made it. I think that those can be mutually exclusive.
I don't want.
But I hear you.
I honestly, because I came into this thing 6 episodes or 6 seasons, no explanation. Mm-hmm. Just 6 seasons of me drawing my own conclusions. And to kind of go into that and see that they're doing that after the episode and they're explaining why things are happening in this way. I mean, I started watching the one after the first one, and they explained why they put Arya's scene at the beginning and the Frey thing. And it was, I mean, honest to God, it was a great decision for the episode because it really was the highlight of the episode.
Yeah.
But this last one, I didn't want to watch any of that.
That's fair.
I kind of want to have this me drawing my own conclusions, not what somebody's telling me how it should be. Right. So the highlights for me, though, and I'll get on to the questions later on, but Euron
Euron Greyjoy?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That whole thing.
He's a psycho.
The fight was crazy. Yeah. That was awesome. That's Game of Thrones right there.
Yeah.
Right?
He's really not just talk. He's a fucking badass.
Yeah, that guy. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's like, yeah. I mean, it's like, why the Iron Islands suck so bad, I don't know. Apparently, they're not on the water, and they don't know what to do.
Aren't they basically? They're just like thugs, you know. They're great at captaining ships and just having a great fleet, but that's about it. Yeah. They're not great at you know.
Well, yeah, they are good at capturing ships. I guess we haven't seen what they're like on land yet.
Yeah.
But no, that whole thing, the thing with Theon, I'm worried about Arya. At this point, honest to God, I'm worried about Arya. Mm-hmm. I'm worried that she's going to start that journey back to the north, and she's going to be delivered that same disappointment that she had before. Do
you think she's still going to go up north? Because now I'm not so sure.
No, honestly, I think she is. I think she wants to go north. She wants to be with her family. She ran into her wolf.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's why I don't think she's going to. I think it's like, I'd say 60-40. My gut is that she won't. I want her to. I want
think
that.
She's going to turn around.
Yeah.
I don't want her to go to the North because I have a feeling if she goes to the North, what is her purpose? And she's going to die.
Yeah. And that's another good reason why she probably won't. But, I mean, I would just love to see a reunion of the Starks who've been through so much shit just once. And you know how much she loves Jon Snow. He's the one that made the needle sword that she's got.
Yeah.
You know?
I want to see that at King's Landing, though.
I agree. But, I mean, the whole thought of, yes, she's finally going to go home where she's not going to have to go through absolute hell and torment. But then she has the scene with Lymeria, her dog. And remember when she says...
Her direwolf.
Her direwolf. And then the wolf doesn't come with her like she asked and walks away and she says, "That's not you." Just like the same way that she said to her dad, Ned, in the first season when he said, "What'd it be like for you to get married and you like boys and get dresses?" And she says, "That's not me." That's the reference to it. So as soon as she sees that, now my thought is, why put a scene like that in the wolf that comes up and you realize that's just not who that person or what that thing is. That thing isn't, it deserves to be out in the wild. That's a kind of a callback to, well, is that you going back with your family and being happy and everything? Come on, that's not you anymore. And I think that was the whole purpose of that scene is she talks about multiple times, I'm going to King's Landing to kill the queen. Then she finds out they're alive. Oh, I'm going to do this. Then we have a stopgap and you're kind of reminded of who you really are, what you're going through. You're a different person. And now we're going to see her going back to King's Landing. That's my guess. Because in that scene is just kind of random.
You're right. Mm-hmm. In regards to that, I hope you're right. Because if she continues back to not King's Landing, I'm sorry. If she continues back to Winterfell, I just have a feeling that
more shit's gonna happen.
No, well, either more shit's gonna happen and she's never gonna get there, or she's gonna get there and the story for her is just gonna be over.
Right. Then that'll never happen.
She's better off on her own at this point because who Arya is, she's better off on her own. I want to see her on her own.
Yeah.
So I don't want her to go back. I mean, as much as I'd love to see the reunion, I don't want to see her go back to Winterfell.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you think? I mean, yeah. I would. I still want her to, but I don't think it'll happen.
Times.
Yeah.
It's been cut short so many times. She was, she left King's Landing. Thought she was going to Castle Black to be with Jon. That got cut short. Then she thought she was going to go back and be in Winterfell. That never happened.
Her aunt was dead 3 days before she got there.
Yeah, and then she's like looking at her brother's army down there, and the Hound even said, "Stop looking. It's not like they're just going to disappear," and they fucking did. Okay, so that needs to continue in a way.
Yeah.
Without it being that, right?
Arya is the ultimate dangling of the carrot in front of you before it is ripped away every fucking time.
But she needs to make a decision now that, you know what? Winterfell will be there. I need to go do my own thing, whether that's in King's Landing or wherever it's going to lead her. I don't want to see her go back there because I just have a feeling if she does, she dies.
Yep.
It's over.
Yep. Well, I've got a feeling you're going to get your wish because I'd be surprised if she did end up going up to Winterfell. Again, part of me still hopes she does, but we'll see how that goes too. You know what was also cool too, not just Arya, but the whole table scene with Daenerys and Marlena or Olenna and that was just freaking awesome because you are thinking, man, she spent so long building up this massive army. This is going to be a pretty easy fight. I mean, if Aegon did it with basically no army and a small army and 3 dragons, she's got the Unsullied, she's got a huge armada of ships, and she's got the 3 dragons. She could have it in a day, but she chooses not to. I thought that was really cool, even though everybody wants her to.
Yeah, everybody wanted her to just go in there and wipe it out, take King's Landing, take the throne. But, oh man, the biggest fucking wrench ever was thrown into that.
Yeah, well, with...
you think about it...
Euron Greyjoy.
Okay, yeah, so he not only did he take out her fleet, well, part of her fleet anyway, I can't imagine it was the whole thing.
We got to assume it was the whole thing, right?
I don't know that it was because Grey Worm was leaving that next day to go to the Lannisters' home, so it couldn't have been the whole fleet.
You're right.
But at the same time, she lost the Greyjoys because there's nobody to lead those. Plus, she lost
Dorn. The sand snakes, the three sisters that were like good at fighting, and then
the mother. The mother is going to be taken back.
That's going to be the present to Cersei, right? Because that was the woman that killed her daughter. So I'm assuming that's the present.
I guarantee you that's what the present is. Yes.
I was excited to finally see Casterly Rock. We've never seen it. Do you think we're gonna? We might not.
Yeah. No, I guess I don't know because granted, the way the things are, you can't have a war on three fronts now. Because the way that they want to do it is they wanted to take the Tyrells and the Dorne army and attack King's Landing with it, and then they wanted to take the Dothraki and.
But when you got 3 dragons, I mean, that's how Aegon conquered the whole 7 kingdoms. Is like literally the war ended pretty quick because as soon as you burned down Harrenhal, the biggest castle in all the 7 kingdoms that was just absolutely massive and impenetrable, and they basically burned everyone in it alive. The war was fucking over.
But she said she didn't want to rule a city of
No, you're right. But what I'm saying is that we still could see Casterly Rock because it's war on multiple fronts would not be unheard of given her abilities and how much reach she has with the dragons. I just hope we get to see it.
I think at this point, what's going to end up happening, and spoiler alert in case this actually does happen, but I think what's going to happen is she needs to either make her offense on King's Landing, or she needs to side with Jon Snow, which definitely gives him a bargaining chip at this point,
right?
Because all these forces she thought she had, she no longer has.
Yeah, but it's not like you could bring the North down south to help fight. They're never going to do that.
Down south because the North is going to be fighting their own war,
right?
But at the same time, you have the Northern territories that are not going to become part of the war. I have a feeling that I honestly, God, I don't know because Cersei has her own plan for the dragons, and I have a feeling at least one of them is going to die.
Right?
Not
her wife show us that in the beginning if they wouldn't be like under some kind of threat. You're right.
Yeah. So I mean, she's going to at least kill one of the dragons.
As long as it's not Drogon, we don't give a shit about the other 2.
Yeah, I hope it's not Drogon. But
Drogon's a big one.
But they better have more than one fucking ballista, or it's never going to happen.
I know. I was going to say, how long does it take to reload that thing? Because if it takes, 10 to 20 minutes and you get one shot off, then the dragon will learn after the first shot.
Hope that every time he's like lining up for you and he's not shooting flames out of his mouth to burn your ass alive.
I would just love to see Drogon come up, pick up that thing, and basically just toss the guys into his mouth, set it on fire and throw it out the ocean and not even give a flying fuck about this thing. But I don't know. That was really cool. You know what else I loved? And I never even thought about it. Because we really haven't seen interactions between Varys and Daenerys. Because when he finally got back in touch with Tyrion back in Meereen, she was gone. She was with the Dothraki. And when he went to go recruit more the Tyrells and the Dornish armies to help Daenerys out, we only really saw a couple of seconds of them together, and that was basically on the ships on their way to Essos at the last season finale. Yeah. And then when I saw them together, really quick to my head, I'm like, you know what? I can't remember those two talk. I mean, he's talked how great she is for seasons and seasons, but I don't remember any interaction between those two. I wonder if they're going to touch on that. And they did right away.
When did he switch allegiance, though?
What do you mean?
I mean, let's go through the chronology here because
they talked about that in the show, didn't they? She said, "Well, first you were with him, then you were with this person."
Yeah, exactly. Who made the kill order? So first season, he is the one that sent the birds out to say kill her.
Yep.
So then
he even said, remember during that table meeting at the time where Ned Stark was there, he goes, "Isn't it better to kill them now than have lots of people die later?" I mean, clearly Varys is for the people. He is for the realm. He's not. And I love that monologue that he gave to Daenerys. He goes, "You want blind leadership? Kill me. I'm here for the people and not a single monarch, king, or queen. I'm here for the people, and I choose you." That was awesome, and you could tell she respected it.
No, it was awesome, but no, it makes me want to go back and watch the first season and the second season because
you'll get a lot more out of it now that you know what was going on behind the scenes. Yeah,
I feel like it would because I remember when Ned came to him in the first season and he's like, he wants you to call off the order to kill her because it's not that important, And honest to God, I mean, at this point, it's Robert Baratheon that's responsible for her coming over
Yeah.
It's his order to kill her that drove her to want to come back. So
she was cool just being married to the Dothra. What was his name?
Drogon.
No, Drogon's the name of her dragon. What was his name? Why can't I think? Drogo. Khal Drogo.
Khal
Drogo.
Khal Drogo. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You're right. She was cool just being his Khaleesi and having a kid and they were fine where they were. You're right. It wasn't until the attacks that she's like, screw this. Let's just take over the world. That really kind of started her views in that direction. You're right too. I don't know. I just really love that dialogue back and forth because you can tell if they wouldn't have addressed that, you're right. It would be weird because that would be really out of character for Daenerys to just be like, oh, you're on my side, even though you are absolutely known for working behind the scenes and having a lot of power with that. They're so intelligent with the writing with this when they could get away with not doing it. And I absolutely love that.
And it's one of those things too, that it shows that this isn't a person that's just interested in ruling to rule. But it's somebody that's actually listening to people around her and observing and things like that. Because, I mean, they could have played this out like it doesn't matter, he's on my side now type of thing, and then comes out the double crosser. But to actually address it it's that elephant in the room thing. I mean, it's just like, we need to discuss this and find out how things are.
Even when Olenna says, like, I know peace, whatever, that never happens, there's a lot of truth to that, too. I mean, even if Daenerys does take over the Seven Kingdoms, how long is there actually going to be great ruling going on? Because eventually she's going to die. There's going to be more wars. There's going to be other fighting. It's just called the Middle fucking Ages. That's how it's going to be. And I
mean, she's already seen that, too, though. I mean, look at what she did in Slaver's Bay and things like that. And all those places just taking back over after she left.
Yeah. But when Olenna said, you want my advice? Don't listen to intelligent people. Just be a dragon. That's one of the things I like about this show, because usually when you hear statements like that on a TV show or movie and the way that they're framed and stuff, you're kind of like, this is kind of the truth. This is what they should be listening to. This is what the I can't think of a good way to put it, but that's not necessarily the case, because people can talk like that, into the camera or to the character or the way it's framed in the show, and it could just completely be their opinion that it's absolutely completely wrong. But you know what I mean? For some reason, when you see that, you're like, God, I hope she takes this advice, because it's got to be right, because they're saying it on camera, framed like that, and that's not the case with this.
Yeah, stop taking all the good news.
But that's just their individual opinions, and that's kind of interesting because in the books, when you're reading books and you read something, you're kind of like, nah, she's wrong. But when it's seen on TV and it's framed a certain way, you're kind of like, that should be, you know what I mean? It's just different in that medium. I thought that was kind of interesting, because I'm wondering, would she stop listening to Tyrion? Because I don't see that playing out well for her. She did.
I don't necessarily see her stop, but I see her altering her own view, because Tyrion's gonna do things. I don't want to say he's a manipulator, but he's an adapter. He's going to adapt to a situation. That's just who he is, because he's intelligent. So I don't necessarily see her like him, like you're not listening to me. Why are you not listening to me?
Right.
I just have him like, he's a problem solver. So whatever situation she puts him in, he's going to try to solve the problem.
Right.
But at the same time, I mean, as much as we want her to do one thing, she needs all of those people in her ear, because she has to make her own decision. And I don't think she's going to necessarily side with Marjorie's grandmother. I can't remember her name, so it's Olenna. She's not necessarily going to go full onto what Olenna says.
Olenna's clearly bitter.
She's going to take that as counsel.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, this is a lady that's lived through a lot. She's lived through 3 rulers now. 5 rulers? 5 rulers now? Mm-hmm. Well, if you count the Mad King, Robert Baratheon, Joffrey, Tommy, and now Cersei.
Yeah.
So she's lived through 5 rulers, and she clearly had her nose in all of that aspect,
and have everything ripped from her.
Yes,
which was actually all 100% Cersei.
Well, if you think about, I mean, yes, the final thing with her blowing up blowing up that with the High Sparrow and everything.
Well, I mean, not just that, but I mean, remember, Cersei's the reason that the Red Sparrow got power in the first place, that robbed her of her grandchildren before there was even a...
Did she know? Does she necessarily know that?
Does who know that?
Does she know that that the High Sparrow got his power.
Remember there
because-
was even that scene with Olenna last season between her and Cersei, and she says everything is because of you. The High Sparrow's in power because of you. We have no power to get them in front, or whatever it was to his long monologue. But she made it clear, you're probably the most awful person that I've ever met in my life because all of this is you. And Cersei even says, "You're right," but we need to work. And she's just like, "Get the fuck out of here. You're just absolute." Yeah.
That actress though is phenomenal.
That plays which one?
The one
that plays Olenna or Cersei?
Cersei is phenomenal too, but no, the one that plays Olenna.
Yeah,
that actress is phenomenal, and or her lines are one of the two.
Well, both
or a combination of both.
Yeah.
Yes, because I mean, I think about her, and I think about her interactions with Tywin Lannister, and
they were good, weren't they?
They were phenomenal. I mean, it was like just going back and forth, and just her level of wit and understanding. And
just realistically knowing the way things are.
Yeah. Without making it sound like a threat, making a threat.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, it was just, yes. I mean, that if she ever, I don't know, if she is ever not part of the Game of Thrones, she'll be missed. I mean, it's one of those things.
You know who just randomly popped into my head that I think would be cool is if at the very end, Arya ends up with that kid back at the end that's really good at baking.
The fat kid? I can't remember what she kept calling him.
You know what? I could see them together. Like, she's the badass. She finally has killed a shitload of people. She's got the vengeance on everyone she needs. Now she can finally settle down, and he will never have any idea that she was this kick-ass assassin. It's just this.
Yeah, but
I could see that.
I don't necessarily see that because obviously he's gotten bigger, and
she could end up with Gendry if Gendry comes back.
And but he made it a point in that last episode to be like, you know what? The fact that I once thought you were a boy and you're actually really pretty.
Yeah.
Girl.
See?
He is a hell of a nice guy.
See?
I mean, obviously. And the fact he can bake, I mean, that's got to be something, right?
And maybe he ends up becoming like an Adonis by the end of the 8th season. We don't fucking know.
There you go. There you go. Like, kind of like that Harry Potter kid.
Tell you what, one of my favorite things in this season was too is we're to the point now where and I think the characters know it too in Winterfell, that everything Littlefinger says is just bullshit. Every word is manipulation. And what I love is we're so used to that, it would be annoying if the characters hadn't wisened up to that too, and they have. Yeah. They know that. Like, literally...
Jon Snow definitely
even Jon Snow, who barely knows him. And Sans is like, you know what, I'm sure you're going to say something clever.
Up against the wall,
when he actually put up against the wall, said, if you ever touch my sister, I'll kill you myself.
If you talk to my sister, those were his words. If you talk to my sister, I'm going to come back and I'm going to kill you.
Oh, man. I'm so freaking pumped for her to meet Daenerys next week. You know that's the meeting we've been waiting for years that everybody's going to be talking about.
I thought that Sansa was going to meet Daenerys because I thought Jon would send her as an envoy. Mm-hmm. So I thought those two, the fiery redhead, and then...
That was a little bit of a stretch, wasn't it, when he said only a king can negotiate with the queen? I'm like, why? you know?
Yes and no. He wants something from her.
Right.
That's the thing. And at the time... he didn't have a lot of bargaining power. Mm-hmm. We obviously found out, later on, that he's going to have a lot more bargaining power at the table than he thought. Mm-hmm. Because she no longer has the Greyjoys, and she no longer has Dorne secured. So.
Yeah, but what else would she need Jon Snow for, though? Because they're not going to get any armies south. No army after the war with Robb, where everybody died and they just argue with Jon not to go down in the first place, are now, even after he's convinced them that it's okay for him to go down, none of them would go south for a war again. That would never fucking happen after everything. I don't think so. But I do think that obviously we're going to have her help going north to fight the army of the dead. That'll definitely be there.
You're going to have to. Yeah, it's going to have to happen.
Especially in the winter, and after they've said that verbatim clear in the meeting hall, I can't see, all right, fine, let's do it again. I mean, last time, we almost all lost all of our families, and we lost our king and our kingdom, but
Walter
Frey's
gone now.
Huh? But what?
Walter Frey's gone. No more red wedding.
I don't think they give a fuck. I just
think about if the red wedding never happened, who'd be in King's Landing right now?
That's true.
Would it be Robb?
Yeah, we have no... He even said he didn't want to sit in the... Yeah, who frickin' knows? I just can't wait for this final meeting because we already know that Tyrion and Jon Snow respect each other and like each other. Mm-hmm. We've got Melisandre down there, and with the combination of Melisandre and... Didn't even Tyrion see like a white? It wasn't a White Walker, but wasn't it one of the the undead people that came alive and then they... Didn't he? In season 1?
I don't know if he did. I can't remember if he did or not.
But
one of the guys that they brought back, he may.
Maybe. I'm not sure. And I'm sure somebody watching this can tell us in the comments.
Let the viewers know, please. Yeah. Viewers can let us know.
But with Jon...
I have to go back and watch now.
With Jon telling Daenerys some of the interesting and, let's be honest, unbelievable stories that most of Westeros wouldn't believe, other than maybe people in the north that just trust him because of who he is. Believing that he came back from the dead.
How many people believe dragons could exist?
Yeah, but they have huge dragon skulls in the king. That whole society does believe that. You know what I mean?
Because but it was 100 years, right? I mean,
I hear that, but I mean, when you see the skulls and it's in all the books, you know what I mean? That's at least proof. What I'm saying is the fact that he came back from the dead, people could choose not to believe. But you got Melisandre.
1,000 years.
Yeah, but then you got Melisandre and you have Tyrion that will vouch for him, which is enough for Daenerys. Then you got the army, the dead stuff, and again, with Melisandre and Tyrion giving a support, then I think that this negotiation will be really interesting. I can't fucking wait for this.
Sorry, thought just popped in my head. Have you seen Ice Age?
Yeah.
Continental Drift?
What is that, the third one?
The third one, or it's got like the weasel thing that's got the eye patch on.
I don't remember. That was a long time ago.
So when we were just talking, and I apologize for going off for the tangent.
That's all right.
It's kind of what we do.
Yeah, that's kind of our niche.
So I swear to God, I was just thinking, I'm like that Ice Age Continental Drift, the one they run into under the ground when they find the dinosaurs again. Mm-hmm. The weasel or whatever that has the eye patch over his eye reminds me of that guy that they keep resurrecting.
Oh, Thoros of Myr.
Yes, but for some reason it's like the two.
Yeah, well, because of the eye patch, I could see that.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe it's because how it like hangs halfway over. But anyway,
well, we know we're gonna see the final meeting of Daenerys and Jon Snow next week, obviously. Yes, most people are going to be more excited for that.
Targaryens.
Do you think that we're going to have the Army of the Dead even get to the wall this season? Because I still think that I don't see how you could do that and not have it be a season finale moment.
Yes, I think we'll see it this season. Because if you remember in the first episode, the Hound had that vision through the fire where he saw them coming around the eastern path.
Oh, right, and that's where all the wildlings went to go take care of that castle.
Yeah,
you're right.
Yeah, yeah. So I think we'll see that by the end of the season. Mm-hmm. I don't know how much of that we'll see, but I think we'll see it before the end of the year.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's the big stuff I can think about for the episode. I mean, the rest of it I didn't think was... Oh, one last thing that I did find out that I had read about that I thought was interesting. In the books, remember the witch from last season or 2 seasons ago? I can't remember which it was, that told Cersei as a kid, you know, you're going to like marry the king. You're going to have 3 children.
He'll have 22 children.
But he'll have a bunch. One thing that was in the books that was not in the TV show is that there was a final line that you will also be strangled to death by your little brother, which I think she assumes to be Tyrion, right? And you and I have talked. Okay. We think it might be Jaime. Here's something interesting. Yeah. That scene, I think, it was in the first episode of this season that had the giant map that she was making in the Red Keep. And then Jaime walks in, and that was the only scene we saw. We haven't been back there. Now it's only the second episode, but that was quite an endeavor for one fucking scene and quite a large map. But whatever, okay. Here's what I thought was interesting. When they freeze it, and they talked about this online, and again, this is a fan theory. It could be totally... But I thought this was really interesting, and it would make a lot of sense if it was intentional. If you look at the map of Westeros, and I've sent you some Westerosi stuff from the books and the maps, there's that thing called the by the Erie where all those like peninsulas come out called the Fingers.
Okay.
That's what all the peninsulas are called on the map. And then the whole area kind of by the Riverlands before it gets up to the north is kind of called like the Neck. Okay. She's standing right on the neck. He's standing right on the fingers. Fingers, neck. Is that foreshadowing?
Oh, that would be interesting if it were.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because if it is...
I'd have one question because you bring up the map aspect of it, and they brought in Old Town. Mm-hmm. Like, as we were watching the opening, Is Old Town where the Citadel is?
Yes. The Citadel is
Okay.
in Old Town. Citadel's that very tall
Okay.
building.
Okay, because obviously, like, in a lot of the openings, they bring up relevant
Mm-hmm.
places where you're going to be in the episode. So I saw Old Town, and I'm like, the fuck is Old Town?
Mm-hmm.
I kind of thought that bringing in the Tullys was kind of cool.
Yeah.
As far as, like, you know, you got to see Sam's dad, and he is kind of a stand-up guy. You know, you may not like him because you like Sam.
I think he's loyal to the stuff that was important back in the Middle Age, like your word, your vows, or whatever. But he's still an asshole. You know what I mean?
But as you read the kind of the history of Westeros, like, that family is pretty predominant. Like, there's a reason they have a Valyrian steel sword.
Right.
It's not just because they lucked into it or they had a bunch of money. There was somebody in the past that did something great.
Yeah.
And they have a Valyrian sword.
Because they had some of the Tullys that were like really great warriors, didn't they?
Yes. Yeah, well, one of them was like responsible for some big battle or something like that. I can't remember what the details
well, didn't even Jaime say he was the only person to actually beat Robert Baratheon in battle? Even Rhaegar Targaryen, who was like the greatest swordsman out there, or like one of the greatest, couldn't do that?
Yeah.
Didn't he say that in the episode? Yeah.
Yeah. So
awesome.
there might be more for the Tullys.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Anything else you can think about for the episode?
No, I really like the episode. I like the way it ended. I know that people online are wondering whether or not they killed what's her name?
The other Greyjoy? Or who?
The mother.
Mother of who?
The mom of the pit vipers or whatever.
Oh, well, probably not because
she's still alive. She's still alive.
Not only is she
she'll
probably
be delivered alive to Cersei. So.
Yeah, so not only is she the president, but let's be honest, she's too big of a character to kill off screen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If she's going to be dead, they would have shown her death.
Yeah.
So
she's not dead. They'll deliver her there, and then the mountain will probably kill her. So
yeah. Oh man, yeah.
Yeah.
Boy, that mountain has just ruined that family. I mean, it killed it killed their nieces and nephews, and then it killed Oberyn, and now it could kill man. And even the sand snakes were talking about that, like, he killed our father. He will crush you like no problem. Maybe that's more foreshadowing too. Yeah. Awesome fucking episode. Right. Can't wait for the next one too. So for those of you watching, let us know what you think in the comments about that episode. And if there's anything we missed or got wrong, please be kind.
Yes, please.
But don't forget, you can always check us out on youtube.com/fracturedfocus and watch regular episodes where we talk about everything from geek culture to nerd news, along with random topics for discussion. Until next time, I don't know. I'd say winter's coming, but that's so cliche at this point. Yeah, but I can't think of anything.
Winter has come.
Yeah, winter's coming. We're just lazy. We don't give a shit.
All right.